Whenever you hear the name Darksiders, I'm sure most of us are reminded of the fun we had in the first two games, number 2 to be exact, and while number 3 might not be the favorite for many of us, it is still safe to say that the franchise carries a lot of weight in terms of expectation. Whenever you hear Darksiders, you always expect something good. This is why it is sad to say that the Darksiders Genesis game did not live to the Darksiders name in several aspects of the game. Some aspects were great, while some were just below average at best. In this new story, War and Strife are tasked with stopping Lucifer, who is hell-bent on upsetting the balance of all realms by granting powers to master demons. Though the game gives the player an opportunity to play as both War and Strife, progression through the story and through the dialogue will let you as a player know that this is mostly a Strife story. As cool as it is, I'm sure a lot of us would have wanted a main Strife game instead of what we have right now. Thankfully though, the rumor says that this is just a side story to the series, so we can expect a Strife game in the future. Fingers crossed on that one. So what about the story of this game? Well, the story is by far the strongest part of this game, and I will say it is just spectacular. It is excellent. And I love the way that the story was told. It will draw you in. The game also has a journal that holds all the lore entries to different things, which you can then go back to read on. In terms of gameplay though, it is not redesigning a genre or doing anything grand or different. It utilizes the isometric view associated with older games or games such as Path of Exiles or Diablo. You can swipe between War and Strife, and this gives you a variety of interesting playstyles. War is more of a close combat hack and slash, while Strife is a ranged gunslinger. It's a difference between a brawler style gameplay and a technique focused gameplay or ranged gameplay. And for most of my gameplay, I ended up using War, mainly because I felt comfortable using the hack and slash game style. The gameplay is semi-linear and the level of progression is tied to these RPG level up and customization of abilities and techniques. These, however, are not spectacular. Once again, you've seen it in a lot of games, you've seen it in Diablo, you've seen it in all of them. And it is just sad to see it that way. If you have played Path of Exile or any Diablo games, you will see that the combat system here doesn't even measure up to Path of Exile. You might as well compare it to something such as Torchlight at most. Though gameplay is quite fluid and the transition is incredible, the camera is also a big letdown and can be bothersome when playing this game. In games like Path of Exile or Diablo, you have an X-ray vision which lets you see your character when you're behind objects. In Darksiders Genesis, however, the camera X-ray doesn't work all the time. Instead, it just cuts into this zoomed in camera, and in some cases where you are fighting and moving back and forth, you could get dizzy due to those cameras snapping back and forth, and that is one thing that I despise the most about this game. In terms of performance though, it is a well-polished game, highly optimized. I was getting higher frame rates and I played it on Ultra, so it is incredible when it comes to performance. I think the reception of this game will be marred by the existence of other games such as Path of Exile, Lost Ark, or even Diablo. The expectations are really high when it comes to an isometric view game or this dungeon crawlers type of games. Gameplay is impressive due to the local and co-op features, which means you can play with your friend playing on a different controller or mouse and keyboard. But in reality, the only reason I can find for you to get this game is if you are a huge fan of the Darksiders series and you enjoy and love the Darksiders lore. Lore is the biggest suit in this game. If I was just grading and rating this game based on lore alone, I will give it 10 over 10. However, that's not the situation. I might even say this lore in this game is better than Darksiders 3. That is just how good it is. Overall, I'll give the game a 7.5 over 10. Now, if you're not a big fan of the lore or a big fan of the series, then I will suggest that you wait for the next Diablo game or wait for Darksiders Genesis to release on consoles next year. Maybe you can pick it up on the Nintendo Switch or wait for it to go on sale on PC. Anyways, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about this game. I'll see you guys in the next one.